This is Heirs to Heresy, part 10. Wow, crazy. 10 sessions. Um, we're picking up where we left off with the group in the woods near the site of the old cairn, having tracked the stalking beast through the woods. You were in the company of a local huntswoman by the name of Annalise, and we ended by, rather, with Esteval attempting to find Wolfsbane in the woods, but we determined it was unfortunately too dark and he had no luck finding such herbal aid. There was a little chatter about what was going to be happening next, but now let's solidify this. Annalise had propositioned the idea of like she can escort you back to her village to recuperate and like arm up to better face this thing, or there was even talk of Esteval trying to sneak into the cairn to like steal the grail back. Torben very much just wants to run in and kill the thing. So there's a few ideas of what could be happening here. What are we thinking about doing, gang? Even if it's individual, I'd love to kind of check the temperature here.
We're not in a position to fight, so I vote that we retreat for now, rest and recuperate, give Esteval some more time to look for this wolfsbane. If Annalise is offering this village, we're not going to get shown this kind of kindness many more times, I fear.
We don't know that it will still be here after we've rested and recuperated. And it has the cup.
How long does Annalise say that her village has been haunted by this thing?
Um, a few weeks now.
Hmm. I don't see a reason it would suddenly decide to pack up and leave.
One could stay and watch. We don't all need to leave.
Of the ones that don't need rest, that would be Esteval.
Hmm. But we need you to find, we need Esteval to find the Wolfsbane. So
Mm.
I think if we want to watch, I think Elia will volunteer. Because I think he isn't like as let's hunt this thing down because he doesn't want anyone to die, but he's also much like Thor, but like I don't want to leave and lose the cup. Like that's scary.
And if it's about
So
the cup, then I'll Esteval can try and go in and just get the cup. But
yeah, but
I
if you then fail,
well, then we fight. I don't think standing here and watching it's going to do much. Otherwise, we might as well just all go and rest, and then we can track it if it comes down to that.
I will do as you two decide.
Do you think, Elia?
I think Elia makes a face like, God damn it, I didn't want to decide this. But we must trust that there is a plan to this. I There is no point in dying for the sake of it. Let's rest. Let's meet this thing on our terms, not on its terms. And if we must track it down, then we will. It will not escape from us.
Annalise, would you be so kind as to show us to your village?
It's about a day's hike from where we are now. We can retreat to my camp and make our way there. We should reach it by tomorrow evening. Perhaps sooner, as long as we fare good weather.
If you have a camp nearby, we might not need to go all the way to the village. These two just need to recuperate. I can go out into the woods and look for some more of this aconite.
If you're all in agreement, then by all means, follow me. And she begins to stalk off into the woods. About an hour or so later, as the waxing moon peers through the clouds, she leads you down through a slight dip in the land between some boulders where a sort of natural crevice has formed. And she has set up a little campfire, a lean-to. It's very much a one-woman camp setup. And so she's just kind of like, kicking some earth around, just like stomping some like flatter parts, brushing leaves aside, and says, you'll have to make do for yourselves. Well, I will say it probably would have made sense for you to have routed by your camp and grab your own supplies that you had as well. So yeah, we'll just say that she makes room for you to kind of like share her camp, though it is a tighter confines and she seems to be working on her own out here. And I have checked. Annalise's camp is considered safe for the evening. So that means you get to use it as wilderness downtime, despite the evening's struggles. It is a respite here. Although the weather is turning quite cold, thankfully, the crevice Annalise has chosen seems to be a natural like windshield. So the chill of the oncoming winter is staved off. You can choose to train during this time, recover some health, or pray to regain 1 faith point with a test involved. How do you each spend your evening by the campfire?
What was that skill we used to go hunting for herbs?
I believe it was nature. Let me check. Oh, no, it was healing test. Yeah, healing test. Which, because healing is the province of herbs and plants.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think what we said last time from your role is that you can't attempt this again during the nighttime. You'll have to wait until daylight hours to find something.
Yeah, I'm still gonna train. I'm gonna train healing then.
Makes sense. What does that look like?
I think we just see Esteval going over that little herbalism guide that we've seen before in the ship as well, going over his notes and maybe even doing a little perimeter walk. Or actually it might be, I know we said we can't actually make the check, but he might go looking around and foraging just to eliminate places to look for tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. I like that a lot. Torben, what about you?
I'm tempted to train, but I think recovering is necessary.
Yeah, you'll get 2d3 of your stamina back, so you can go ahead and roll that.
Don't forget you do have that salve. And in fact, I'm going to give one of my remaining salves to Elia, since Elia used his, which leaves each of us now with one.
And Elias, what about you?
I am fighting a demon named Maki.
Yes, you
are. He is a menace. I don't know what's gotten into him. I mean, I think narratively, Elia is praying, but mechanically, I will recover.
Okay, yeah. So same deal with
yeah.
you. You can roll the same 2d3 and then the benefits of the decoction if you use it.
Mm-hmm. Also, thank you for the potion. Let's see if I need it.
I'm going to use my salve too. So.
Very good.
Ice roller.
Everybody smells like gingerbread.
That's something.
Annalise is a very
Oh,
good. Annalise is a very, self-sufficient huntswoman. Doesn't seem to necessarily need a lot of conversation in your company and sort of just respects the fact that y'all have been through your own ordeals and she's minding her own business and you're minding hers. I do think at some point though, she will probably while you're out, just like scouting the immediate area, Esteval just doing some like initial herbal things. She probably accompanies you since she's doing a walk of the perimeter. And she seems to have a passing familiarity with herbs, less than a textual one like you. But she does like offer insight. And she mentions like, oh, I saw something over here. You can check that out. I think while the two of you are alone, Annalise will just you're examining some like root that caught your eye just to confer what it might be. She kneels next to you and she says, "It is none of my business, and I will not be offended if you choose not to answer. As I said, I don't particularly care what group you and your lot belong to, but I am mighty curious as to why you're here, of all places."
Well, the good news is we don't want to be here, so of course our presence is an oddity. You might as well forget we existed.
I have no problems with that. She just nods, and that's the conversation. The evening passes. The following morning, you know what? Let's see something real quick. Because I don't think I've made use of this yet. I'm going to roll for random weather because why not?
Because if you do, it's going to rain.
Well, good news. It doesn't rain.
Snows.
It is a cool and dry autumn like morning. Like the kind that really heralds the oncoming of winter with just the crispness of leaves that crunch underfoot. But there's still enough sun in the sky, and there is a warmth to it as it comes down through the canopy. Esteval, you have a lot more light to work with, and you are going to search for more wolfsbane. This is a healing test, probably with intellect, unless you have an argument for a different one. And what did I say the difficulty was for this? It is sorry, I just set it aside. Oh, yes, it's 18. And you have advantage on this.
And I can help, and I think Torben can too if he wants to.
Yes.
Oh, look at all. You're going to foraging in the woods together as a team.
Yay.
It's already
So
have
cute.
advantage.
All right, what yeah, it already has advantage, so what benefits are y'all going to give him?
A reroll.
Nice.
Actually, if Elia wants to grant the reroll, then we can just take the plus. I think it only gets +4 is the max you can give.
Yep,
Mhm.
to maximum +4.
Yeah, I'll do the reroll and then we can add Torben's stat because
And an additional +2 to it, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you guys have the exact same one, yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right, you're going to get an additional +2 to the roll. You have advantage, and you get a free reroll. So, man, there better be crits in this, honestly.
Yeah, really. Cool. So, +4, +2 gets to +6, +4 on top of that, +10.
Wait, where did the additional +4 come from? Oh, yes, because you were at +6 because of your thing already. Yeah.
Intellect plus healing is +6.
And then there's an additional +2 from Torben helping.
Torben's +4.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong
5.
person. My bad. Yes, that's right. So that's +4.
So 2d10, actually 3d10. Whoops.
Wild. These numbers are wild.
3d10. Keep the two highest and +10. I think that's right. Let's go. All right. So we're looking at 27. I'm going to I'll re-roll. It's a 9, 4, and an 8. So I will re-roll. What we say the difficulty was?
18.
18. I'm gonna re-roll the 4 and the 8. Just see if I get a 9 on either of them.
Sure.
Unfortunate.
Unfortunate, but I imagine we're still high enough to succeed here.
Yeah, it's 16 plus 10, 26.
Oh yeah, you got this in spades. As the morning passes along, you do find a fair amount of wolfsbane in a nearby area, not too far from Annalise's camp, conveniently enough. And it can be, you harvest a sufficient amount of it. Effectively, the mechanics of this, depending on how you apply it, it is irrelevant. Rather, I should say, like you might burn it, you might just wear it around your necks. I don't particularly care. But wolfsbane in the presence of a werewolf lowers its defense by 6. So it has a natural. Its original defense was an 18, so its defense now is a 12. If in the presence of wolfsbane, it doesn't even have to be everyone holding wolfsbane. Just in the vicinity of something involving wolfsbane, it lowers its defense down to a 12. Unfortunately, it does nothing for its natural armor that it has against weapons, but take the victories where you can find them. Silver is in short supply.
So the damage that we had already done to it, what will it have healed that, or?
It will have healed some, I will say. It'll have licked its wounds, but I'm not of the opinion that video game style an enemy's health resets immediately upon ending the encounter. You don't know much about what this creature's deal is, but we can imagine it took a bit of time to lick its wounds. I think you ended up dealing like 20 something after like armor removal and all, like after I deducted armor points and all that. It was somewhere in like the ballpark of like 20 to 30 stamina damage dealt to it.
It was like 56.
I said after armor though, I believe. Oh, is that after armor? I may have wrote down the wrong number. Hold on.
Because I did 2 18s and then
yeah,
and it had 10 defense at the time.
Yeah, that's true. We're in the ballpark of 40. Yeah, because of just either way, instead of me like you guys rolling a set amount, I'm just like resetting its health to a value, just for the sake of simple bookkeeping. So it is not at full health, but you know, it resets some. So hey, small victories. But it is the light of day, and in the morning, Annalise, once you were all gathered, she says, "So, what is the plan? Are we to return? Or do you wish to find comfort in my village for a time? I'm of the opinion that we should make hay while the sun shines and make it to the cairn."
What that means.
It means, big man, that we should go to the cairn while we have the advantage.
Yes, I like this making of hay.
We must do that anyhow. But if you wish to return to your village, then you are free to do so.
And lose out on the bounty? Fuck no.
What is the bounty, out of curiosity?
Local lord is offering a fair amount of coin to the individual that can hunt and kill the beast stalking the countryside. I have been offered a fair amount of coin for this. Not enough that is probably significant for worldly lot such as yourself, but enough to secure a great deal of trade and comfort in the winter and spring to come. Small folk have small needs, but I appreciate the payout nonetheless.
We hope you'll take your fortune and use it for good, or at least enjoy it.
I very much intend to.
Is that all the like? I think we like are starting to walk there, right? But I think he will say, "Is that all your local lord has coin out for?"
What are you getting at?
I mean, are there other bounties?
Nothing. There's bandit bounties, always bandit bounties, but I'm not a warrior. I am a hunter.
And I think sort of subconsciously he like pulls his cloak a little more around his Templar outfit because he was basically like, "Are you gonna kill me after this? Can I do an insight check?"
What are you wondering about?
Well, if there are bounties here for Templars, like maybe not that she's taking, But is she on the up and up that the only thing she's interested in is this beast? Or did she like Alphonse and like that one spy now have a different extra plan in mind?
That's a really great question. I don't think failure is interesting here, so I'm just going to give you a straight answer as if you were successful anyway. Truly, Annalise really doesn't care about you guys. Like, she doesn't care about Templars. She just cares about the people of her village getting through the winter and just making it to making it to spring. And you aren't in direct competition with her. That said, there might be stuff that she just doesn't remember or know about, but as regarding you guys, she doesn't seem to really care that much. She seems all right by you.
Okay, good. Yeah. That's all Elia needs to know.
At this point, she's kind of comfortable in your presence, really. Yeah. Well, then you set out. And by mid-morning, you return to the cairn, albeit now in the full light of day. It is still an ominous place. There's like a mist that hangs in the air almost, whether natural or supernatural, who can say, but it lends the area a certain degree of dramatic set dressing. And the mound of dirt looms there. Now under the light of day, it less seems like a fortification like it may have previously, now more of a decrepit tombstone of a place. But all is quiet save for the occasional wind, and there isn't even the sound of birds in this area. It's almost like nature doesn't like this place. What do you all do?
I think our original plan last time was to kind of lure it out, have Esteval and Annalise at a distance with their crossbows, and then me and Torben would like try to kill it, like engage it on melee, but like lure it out first so we don't have to be in its lair where it knows everything better. So unless people disagree with that plan, I think we had said then that we would like try to smoke it out. So I assume that we could have like picked up kindling and stuff to try that.
Yeah,
Makes sense
just
to me. Yeah.
just to build on that, I think Esteval, being the sort of sneaky one, will volunteer to take the kindling inside and start a ruckus.
All right, then. Esteval, with supplies in hand, you keep low and sort of approach the cairn rather cautiously, being mindful of the ground underfoot so you don't break any twigs or step on any particularly dry and loud leaves. You get closer to the cairn, closer to that burrowed gash in its side where there is this revealed slab of old stone that's been sort of like shoved off to the side, revealing these carved steps that lead down into the bowels of darkness. There's a smell, pungent, coming up from the deep. It is the smell of dirt, wet earth, blood, and other bodily excretions. The smell of death.
Charming. Esteval will, just give a quick little wave to the others back in the tree line as if to say, I'm going in. And I think if he has enough like cloak to sort of like pull it up over his mouth and nose, he will, but then head in.
You step down into the dark. A shaft of light comes through the opening, but even that is barely enough to truly punctuate the scene around you. But the gloom is enough to somewhat discern your surroundings. Your feet crunch on piles of bones littered at the very edges of the interior hollow. And what little light does come down, backlighting you as your shadow stretches across the interior, it lands at the edge of a stone dais, atop of which you just make out the withered arm of a long rotted corpse wrapped in decomposing leathers and old clothes. Its bony hands clutch a sword. An old, simple crown rests on its brow.
Is it a crown?
Yeah, like an old, like beaten, like crown, like something out of like from like a something that you would have had like from like a local like tribe centuries ago.
Got
Mhm.
it. Must be who they initially buried in the cairn then.
Seems to be the case.
Uh, this isn't trophy. I was gonna check the body for valuables, but Esteval's not a trophy character, and I don't have burdens to meet. So we'll continue. I'll do a quick look to make sure that it's not the werewolf that we want, but I'm assuming it's not. We'll move on.
You are pretty certain that this is just the corpse of some long dead
Yeah.
chieftain of a tribe, a warlord, a minor petty king, who knows?
Yeah, we'll do a little quick little sign of the cross and move on.
It is only this space. There
Oh.
is no additional features of the cairn, just bones and filth. Although, after a cursory examination, you do see lying sort of amidst the scattered cattle and sheep bones is the cup set down.
I don't want to come back with nothing exactly. I mean, the cup, obviously, but yeah, I'll take one last little glance around. Yeah, tracking check would. We should all be in here for that. So I'll grab the cup and just head back out.
Torben and Elias, minutes pass after Esteval disappears beyond the threshold of the cairn. There is only silence, save for the wind, your own breaths, and your heartbeats. Annalise's hand twitches near the drawstring of her bow. And then you hear noise from the hill. That tension lingers on for a moment. And Esteval appears back in the light of day once more, holding the battered clay cup.
It's gone.
You're sure? It's not hidden in a shadow under a rock?
We're free to come in and look around and see if there's a way to track it, but it's not inside. It's a rather small space. If it was there, it probably would have ambushed me. Possibility it's out hunting as well.
In the day? No. No, it's struck by night. I don't like this.
It left the cup behind.
Then why would it take it?
Uncertain.
I think Elia, as the two of you were talking, he would have like immediately like run towards you in the cup and like not as in like forcibly try to take it from you, but very much as in like, it's back now, I will take it back to hide it, right? Like he's just assuming that you're gonna immediately give it up as soon as you're back.
Yeah, Esteval just tosses the cup to Elia.
Yeah, he will catch it.
We're two guys. We're not allowed to actually hand things to each other. You have to toss it. Those are the rules.
I do deeply apologize for not knowing the gender
The
roles
etiquette.
about ending. I apologize.
The greater
Yeah.
Alternatively,
the
you can just shove it at another guy's chest and
Yeah,
expect him to
That's
grab
true.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
great-
I knew that was a
the
problem.
greater the distance you throw it, the stronger your bond is.
Exactly.
As it
Okay,
grows.
yeah. I see. I'm learning. I'm taking notes. Okay. How to hand cups gender
To your
edition.
bros, yeah.
Yeah, but I think, yeah, if it's in my hands, like I will have this compulsive need to like almost like pet it as if it were alive and it's like not hurt. Like very much like that energy of like I see something that I think is hurt and I need to like pet it and like have my hands all over it. Does it look damaged or like wrong? Or is
No,
it still the
looks
cup?
utterly the same.
Torben's going to put his hand on Elias's arm and just cut his eyes over to our guest. Like,
Yeah. He will sort of like, yeah, snap out of it and not like yoink it away, because that is too also suspicious, but like not and put it away, and hold it close in its satchel.
Yeah, Annalise does not seem to see this at all, because as soon as Esteval emerged and said that it was gone, she's already started crossing the clearing to like peek into the cairn herself. Though as she gets closer to it, she looks like very like nervous to do so. Like she herself does not want to really be here, and like kind of like looks past the threshold but doesn't go any deeper than that. Just glances in. So she doesn't notice as you're kind of making the exchange of the cup. And you put it away. Although
Torben will approach and I'll accompany you.
she looks you up and down. Accompany you where?
Inside.
Yes, right. Well, I mean, he said it wasn't here, right?
And if it is, I'll kill it.
She like looks down again into the dark. Yes, of course. Well then, size before beauty.
Torben will look offended, but he'll go in.
You sit down there. She definitely looks like she does not want to be here. But you enter the cairn, seeing much the same as Esteval did. And around the bones, you do spot like a couple of actual like human bones, but the majority here is like cattle, some sheep bones as well. A lot of livestock, but maybe a cracked human skull, part of a rib cage. Hard to say with any real entirety, but they are fresh. They're not new. They're bones at least a couple weeks old, stripped thoroughly of meat, some of them still rotting slightly from whatever scraps are left. The whole air just reeks of a kill. Matted fur and fecal matter. There are signs of something dwelling in here. Like there's the smell of like foul wolf urine. There are droppings in the place. Like a space that you could rightly imagine like a creature could like curl up and like sleep in, of the size of whatever you encountered. But beyond that, there might be a roll involved to see if you can discern it, for anyone to discern anything more. I will say, if you use it as hunting, Annalise gives a +2 to hunting checks. But otherwise, I will say that you would have an advantage on an awareness test, depending on the angle you're approaching it from.
Esteval can give advantage on a hunting check, or help with a hunting check, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And I could help with awareness, but hunting then seems better because Annalise can then also give a +2.
Well, I mean, Annalise gives a +2 on hunting checks, but she can give advantage if with something, if she was helping doing any kind of like check of of that nature just to search the place. Since Torben, you're the only one in here, I think Esteval and Elias are not in here. Elias is outside, so she'll give you an advantage on an awareness test if that's what you're angling for.
I think that, yeah, he's well trained in combat. He knows he injured this thing, so he'll be looking for blood and any sign that when it left. He knows how blood dries.
Sure.
So yeah, I'll go intellect and awareness. That's +4
But you'll have advantage.
with advantage. Okay.
Oh, and this will just be I should always communicate this before I forget. I think this is going to be 15. There's a lot here to sift through, so it requires a bit of effort.
All right. 21.
Oh, incredible. Very good. You find a couple of things. First of all, yes, traces of blood that are fresher, probably from wounds, but there is strange distortions of its tracks in that in addition to like the signs of bestial passage, you kind of see in the stairs fresher, like human-sized footprints leading out of the cairn, just slightly dirty with a little bit of blood. And that's the sign of, if this is indeed a werewolf, the transformation, probably a beast went in, but a person left. You don't see any sign of the beast having ever left. And then also as well, you do find a little like lying amidst the area, so like underneath some bones, you just find like a little crucifix, a little necklace crucifix.
How big is the crucifix?
Like the kind that you'd wear like on a necklace, so it's about like it would fit in your palm, little wooden crucifix. The leather cord is like slightly broken, like it like snapped in the back.
Torben will lift that up and look back at Annalise. Is your village the closest dwelling?
They are not well within the cairn distance.
Yes.
2 or 3 really. There's mine and then another couple.
And how many have gone missing from yours?
Cattle?
Just cattle.
Yeah, we've only had cattle terrorized and killed at our village.
And he'll nod and taking the crucifix, bring it out to the others. It left this place as a man. Or woman, I suppose, but human.
Then how will we find it? Them.
Well, somewhere there is a very, very sore human. Took at least 2 great gashes with a longsword.
Is there a trail to follow? I don't see how we could just go village by village and ask who's hurt.
I think Annalise chimes in. She says, there are footprints leading out of the cairn. They're not as big as the beast. We could try to follow him, but well,
Esteval will walk over and kneel down and look at these footprints, at least the man-shaped ones. Good eye.
Do you really think this is some sort of creature that can, become a man by day and turn into a beast by night?
Yes.
There's that look of like disbelief that is immediately like exchanged for like the superstition of being here, where so it's like both are existing simultaneously in her head, and she just kind of doesn't say anything.
The body in there with the crown, do you know whose tomb this was?
No. It's been here for as long as anyone in these parts can remember. Burying a chieftain of a local tribe some centuries ago. Place and stories was cursed.
Cursed. How?
Uh, we all grew up on this story, but everyone has their spin on it. Some say that the chieftain was laid a curse in the place so that would-be thieves would be set upon by beasts of the forest. Some say that they would be cursed to unearth him from his slumber. There's a dozen variations. All of them just point towards the same thing. Don't go to the cairn. It's a cursed place.
Well, we are yet to be cursed, so there must be another step involved. Perhaps a blood sacrifice, or
We don't know if the two things are related. It might have just been using this place as a hovel, a den.
that.
Although the crucifix does certainly lend a certain romantic air about the whole thing. We'll see if we can follow these tracks.
Okay. I'll let you know that. Let's see. Following the tracks left behind will be difficult. So it's a 21 difficulty to track them through the woods. They're not as sizable and pronounced as the massive wolf tracks. There's the ground is rather dry and unyielding today, so there's not a lot to work with, but it's not impossible. Hunting for sure, you'll get a +2 from Annalise. Whoever would like to set it up further, be my guest. If you can aid it, by all means.
It's the thing, I'm the only one that can aid hunting,
Bummer.
so
Then
wondering if somebody else wants to take the role and I can assist.
and then you can aid, yeah. Then you can assist.
Yeah.
I mean, Torben's the one who's been following this beast. Seems to be the one who is on the warpath to claim it. So maybe Torben could be the one to take the lead on it.
Yeah, but that raw
Can do.
bonus is also really nice. But
You know.
yeah, but we get advancements on crits.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll give Torben advantage. Actually, I'll just grant a reroll.
Okay. And then you get an additional +2 to your hunting. So +3 with a reroll. Yeah, this is gonna be a toughie to find.
Do I get advantage from Annalise, or
No, you get a +2 to your hunting from Annalise. So
3? Cool. That is a 7 and a 6 and a 3. I will re-roll the 6.
okay.
That's 14 plus 3 is
Not
17.
enough, unfortunately.
And
You
it's not a
lose
crit unless it succeeds, right?
Yeah, it's only a crit if it succeeds. The trail is quickly lost. And truly, you would not have in terms of like directions, and as Annalise gives you the lay of the land, you do not have a solid idea of which of the 3 nearby towns within a day's hike of the cairn this person would have been walking towards. And Annalise just confers after like spreading off in like one direction of the woods. She circles back to you guys and says, nothing in that direction that I can find either. The damn ground, if it had rained, we would be in a different situation, but alas.
Then we ambush it.
We know
Set
what
up
it
around the
wants.
cairn. It will come back.
Alternatively, we set up in the village where it's been hunting its food.
We're not the only village who's been hunted.
Fair point.
It is a gamble. I think your friend here is correct. We have the better chance of knowing where it'll return to upon nightfall.
It's also its strongest state.
Aye.
Unless it needs to return before nightfall. Wolf
You
or
all-
man?
You seem like this is all natural for you to say such fantastical things. Like you have experienced something like this before.
I'm not from here.
Clearly.
We need to set up hidden. Stay quiet until dusk.
Why don't we just return to my camp? It's not very far, and we would not want to be sniffed out before then, would we? Wait, damn it. 3 of us have been inside its den. Who's to say it won't be able to have our scent?
It already has my scent.
But it'll know that we were there.
Well, if you needed to come to us, then that is to our advantage, isn't it? If it is to hunt us down, then we can prepare for that.
And maybe we now have something it wants. I will hold up the crucifix.
We have the cup, and we know it wants that.
The cup.
It's just a cup.
It took our bag of belongings.
Annalise looks very confused, but chooses not to press further into this. I'm personally of the opinion that if it knows that any of us were in its dwelling, it can then stalk us through the darkness. Even if we prepare, we are but a point of light surrounded by an ocean of dark trees. We can hide and climb and stalk in, if such a thing is capable of it. Whereas alternatively, if we camped closer and lied in wait, we might be able to strike it before it realizes that we were here. Lay a trap for it, even.
And we do have a small advantage, potentially. I have yet to eat the cat. It warned us last night. We just didn't know of what.
Closer camp sounds like a good idea. We should go ahead and get that started.
Aye, we can do that. And the rest of you, or everyone, the rest of the day can be spent in breaking down Annalise's camp, moving it, finding a more appropriate area in the vicinity of the cairn, setting it up. Because Annalise is an experienced hunter with these woods, I will say that this does not necessitate any exploring like checks to maneuver about these woods. This is familiar ground for her. And so she's a great boon during this time. Let's take a little break here and resume when we come back. So during the rest of the day, once camp is moved and established, it actually counts as another period of downtime, daytime downtime. Just given that the rest of the day is kind of spent waiting, you have a bit of some time to work to maybe prepare or better yourself. Similar to what we just did last time, this you can prepare, you can train, train, I think is what it's called. To prepare for something. You can recover, you can pray, you can also conceal trail if you wanted to try and hide signs of your passage, in which case it reduces pursuit points by 1.
I'd like to go try and do some herbalism. Maybe make another salve to make up for some of the ones that we've been using.
Oh, totally. Yeah. You can attempt that test.
Sure. Intellect plus craft. It is difficult, which is
18.
18.
Or wait, no, sorry, that might be challenging. I think difficult's 21. Let me double check that for you though.
I think it is 21.
Difficult is 21. Yep.
Okay. I have +7 to it, which is what it is. And
Very good.
oh wow, 26.
Hey, hell yes. Not a critical though.
No, 9 and 10 on the dice.
All right. Good. You make some salve. Torben, what about you?
I think I'll train, get that advantage.
Absolutely. Preparing yourself to face the beast again. Elias, what about you?
I don't think that the 3 in health difference is gonna matter because I remember this thing doing like 30 damage in one go. So I will also train.
Okay. You will also train.
I'll pass the salve off to. I have 2 currently. I'll just pass 1 to each of them. Esteval's at full stamina. These guys look like they could use a little pick me up, and so each of you get a salve.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Night falls. In the late hours, the skies shrouded in gray overhead, just black, really, with the darkness. Even removed from the place as you are by your camp, the cairn's presence is ever noticeable. You're always aware of where it is. And you lie in wait. Are you waiting by the edge of the forest watching the cairn, or are you having some other preparation? And was there anything else people would have done in advance before the beast might return this evening?
I imagine us at the tree line, able to like actually watch the comings and goings of the cairn. Um, but I don't know of any other things that Esteval would have done ahead of time.
That's fine.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Elia would have just made sure that the cup is very, very secured. It's not getting snatched away from him. But I think the whole day he's just extremely quiet. Like he's not doing well. He's going through the motions, but I think that he just isn't speaking much. Like it feels like he's preparing for a test and it's not over yet.
Where have you secured the cup?
I think to his body, but I think like he has sort of secured it maybe where like the shield would be held, like sort of, like the shield will also be protecting the cup, but he doesn't dare have it not on his body. And maybe with like some extra layers of fabric. Maybe even attached to like the chain, like he would have gotten like string. Sorry, my key's being a menace.
You're good.
Yeah, he would have like secured it with string like to his chainmail. So basically, like if it's dragging the cup, it's because it's dragging Elias's dead body. Is like very much the vibe that we're getting, right? Like this is not gonna be snatched away. Like it will have to drag Elia with it.
Fascinating. Okay, I'm into it. Eventually, the silence of the evening is punctuated in the distance by an all too familiar And a
If you
lumbering. Oh, go ahead.
look over at Torben and quietly mutter, "If you howl back this time, I'm going to stab you myself."
Torben will grin, but not
Also,
howl.
I just now noticed, thank you for the inclusion of the difficulty chart on the sidebar there that helps me adjudicate things faster. In the darkness, you can see the lumbering shadow of the beast, barely visible, but its presence unmistakable. As it stalks towards the cairn, it stops. And I'm going to spend my last pursuit point to have it notice something's amiss before it goes into the cairn. A low growl coming up from its throat. And it begins to stalk the area, searching for trespassers. This will be a very difficult stealth check from someone. So that's 24. Or else, with its terrifying speed, the beast will will find you and launch a very quick attack. Now, I will note what that means, mechanically at least, is it will get a free attack before initiative is drawn. Both Annalise and I believe Esteval with his opening volley get to do attacks before initiative is drawn. So it's like your options are either like it sniffs you out, it finds you, and just bam, two sides immediately clash and we launch into action. Or if you succeed at this stealth check, it means it does not find you and will go into the cairn. And you might be able to get the jump on it.
Can I ask about an alternative?
Well, I'm open to it, yeah.
What if Torben isn't right next to the others and he does howl?
Oh.
I was also going to say, could we roll a battle one? Because Torben has basically been saying, we're laying an ambush for this. We're not treating this like a stealth check. We are treating this like a siege. This is an attack. This isn't like us hiding.
That's so cool. I'm really into that. Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to roll it. Torben should roll it, but
absolutely. Battle makes complete sense because you've had the entire day. You've prepared, which means so like Torben, you get this with advantage if this is what we do. And I love it. Like it doesn't even necessarily just have to be representative of you doing your little distracting howling thing. This can just be in broader, like the tactics, the organized like approach here, to you guys getting the jump on it before it gets the jump on you. That's sexy. I will say, just given that context, I'm going to say that this is not a very difficult test. This is a difficult test. So it's a 21. It's still a formidable opponent, but like the setup here is really cool, and you did have ample time to set this up. So is that in line with what you're thinking about doing, Torben?
Yeah,
Great.
That works too.
So you have a +5 to your battle. What attribute are you combining this with?
It feels like courage.
I would agree 100%, especially because if you're taking the angle of like Torben howls to like draw its attention, huge amounts of courage it takes for that. And Esteval will help. Esteval, what benefit will you give Torben?
You're already giving him advantage, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Then I will give advantage.
Instead of advantage, I just lowered the difficulty.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Or I'll give a reroll,
Mm-hmm.
which just feels like advantage, but better.
Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'll pose this to you. Ben, which one are you more interested in? Me lowering the difficulty from a 24 to a 21, or me giving you advantage?
I think lowering is probably wise,
Okay.
just in case.
Sure, I'll keep that totally. So you get a reroll. Hit those dice on the table. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, courage and battle is
Mhm.
+7.
Nice.
So that is 4, 8, and 7 is 19. I will take that reroll.
Yeah, which one are you going to reroll? The 4, 8, or the 7?
The 4.
Yeah, makes sense.
Another 4.
Well, you still succeed, which is very good. Just no crits. Give us a little bit of what the scene looks like, Ben, as Torben sets off the plan in motion.
Wait, do I succeed? I thought it was 21.
No, the 7 was the static value, so it was
It would be 7 plus 8 plus 7, right?
7 plus 8 plus 4.
Oh, plus
19.
4.
Yeah.
Oh, my
fail.
bad. Oh, my bummer. You had a.
Alas, I can't spend the fate point to add to your stuff. Alas,
Plus
alas.
4, but this was a courage battle, so it'd be +7, right? Oh, the 7 was the static value.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
so and you rolled
8 and 4 were on
right,
the dice.
right. Yes, that's right. Thank you. Okay, my bad. I misunderstood. Oh, you fail.
I fail. Yeah.
Well, still, in that case, I think what tracks is that you do draw its attention, but it's very quick. And I think that means before the others can act, it throws itself all in on you. Now, this does not prevent Annalise and Esteval from doing their things. It just means this does trigger the werewolf's ability to do a free attack before initiative is drawn. Esteval, you do have opening volley, which I believe that this could trigger here. So it's all simultaneous. Is you and Annalise position nearby can very quickly notch arrows. However, just given the failed roll, it will go first against Torben. So before any of you guys get hits on it, it throws itself towards Torben, and it will. Let me get this attack up here. All right. That is a 27 against your defense, Torben.
Yep.
All right. Not a crit, though.
Okay.
How much stamina do you have right now?
11.
That is 17. So you immediately take a crippling blow. What do you mark?
Armor?
Oh, yeah. Well, you subtract your armor, of course, from 17.
Yeah. So then that's 10.
10. Still a crippling blow, but doesn't immediately knock you down.
So I'll take stunned.
You'll take stunned. Absolutely. The beast lunges forward with terrifying speed, and you can't really see if the fact that it has, you wounded it last night, just given the darkness, but this thing does not move like it's wounded. It moves with just frenzied desperation, lashing out, and it just effectively runs on all fours across the glade, slams into you, picks you up, drags you up against the bark of a tree, just snarling. You can smell the rancid breath, and it then just throws you as you hit the ground hard, rolling, boom, 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 and it stalks towards you, claws long as it growls. Esteval and Annalise both get to attack from ranged if they so desire.
Yeah, we'll go for it.
So will Annalise.
And ranged attack +8. Got a 19.
19 beats its defense. And Annalise also hits it. So our two respective archers throw in a volley. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Yeah, D10 +8. Not 88.
All right. Annalise hits it, deals 12 damage to it and then 6 after its armor is factored.
I got a 1 on the dice,
so it ignores damage reduction. Yep.
Yeah, so 9.
Incredible. All right. Esteval, give us a little bit of the scene of what this looks like, picking up where we left off, and you can cover Annalise as well in the narrative.
Is the Wolfsbane being factored in here?
No, just because it's not in the presence of Wolfsbane, you would need to be up against it. Unless, yeah, if Esteval had said that he like did some Wolfsbane stuff with his arrows earlier, maybe, but that was not brought up until so. It's. Ooh. I think for now we will say that that's probably was not a thing that was on the table.
All right, yeah. Then we'll definitely want to make sure that we get that there. We might like toss a little bundle to Elia because I know Elia's going to rush into melee combat with this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But for Annalise and Esteval, it's really just, you know, Esteval is in a more one knee down position because he has to. That's how he reloads the crossbow. But yeah, I think the two of them just kind of like side by side, one a little higher than the other, just launch their missiles from the tree line, and we just watch them go blink blink right into its body.
Love it. All right, I have assembled the initiative bag. Let's begin drawing. First up, the stalking beast. Oh boy, what is it gonna do? I think as the arrows pepper it. Oh, and just as a narrative, the area around the cairn here where this fight is happening is its own zone, and then effectively consider that like a box zone, and then there's just like the tree line zones all around it. So you can effectively just move as things are standing now. If you were waiting in the tree line, just moving into the next zone. So pretty simple, but the cairn is pretty prominent there, and the tree line. If this were ranged, I would say that, there's probably some cover there, but depending on how this creature acts, it probably doesn't have the best benefits. But all the same, it's going to go first. It will. Oh, and actually, I'm sorry, Torben. You are actually at 0 because I forgot about this. Its attacks are considered armor piercing and ignores damage reduction. So I apologize for that, but you're still stunned. I think as the arrows come in, it backs off of Torben. It is going to. I'm sorry, I'm just reading the actions again real quick. It is going to both parry. So all attacks against it have disadvantage. And it will also ward off. So that means anyone who moves into its zone, it will make an attack against you. It will have disadvantage on the attack, and all damage, or sorry, all attacks have disadvantage against it. So like as the arrows come in, it backs off of Torben, growling, and keeps itself low as its head is whipping around towards the tree line, sniffing the air, ready for you all to come out. Torben, since you're like right here with this thing, let me ask you this question real quick. How much experience do you say Torben has with like wild animals, even if it was like hunting them?
I mean, probably a bit as a child growing up where he did.
We'll I'll say this just for free, but on your turn, or this goes for anyone, as long as you have a reason to suspect it, you could use a skill to pry deeper here. But up front, there is like this wildness to this thing, this desperation to it that doesn't necessarily seem like a feral, bloodthirsty beast. It seems like something like you would expect, like a cornered animal or something that's desperate to act like that. But more than that would require someone using a skill to pry deeper into it during the round. The next drawn is one of your Templar tokens. So that can be any of you or Annalise. You get to choose who goes.
If we wait for it to take another action, that ward off might go away. So either Esteval or Annalise are probably the better shots here.
Just because you can attack it without triggering its attacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Esteval or Annalise, which of you wants to go?
I'll go ahead with Esteval.
Okay, very good.
Just reloads, sees that it's like taking a more defensive stance, so I'm going to use one action to prepare to
Yep.
offset that disadvantage, and then ranged attack.
Love it. Give us the hit.
What's it do? +8. $23, no crit.
That hits.
Alrighty. It's 1d10 +8 for damage. 16. It does have
16.
armor reduction.
It does, but that's still 10 to it, which is nothing to scoff at. Give us a little bit of the scene.
I think we just see Esteval sort of in the zone, and it's just like shot, reload, shot, and it's just this is a firing drill to him. But that little extra time that he takes to prepare, whatever the werewolf is doing to sort of like remain defensive, Esteval just waits, and we sort of like hear an internal monologue of like, take a deep breath, hold, and
that's another Templar token from the bag. Do we have it be Annalise?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Annalise will go. She does the exact same thing, breathing in tandem with you. She prepares and she attacks. Annalise gets a crit. Wait, does that hit? Hold on. Oh, that might not hit. Does not hit. That is just shy of hitting, unfortunately. But still, yeah, no, she fires her shots. But it is clear this woman is shaken by this beast. So her aim is not as steady or as certain as yours. And next up from the bag, another Templar. So either Torben or Elias gets to go. Torben, you're the one who's in its zone, so it won't get to attack you for free.
I think, yeah, it makes sense to take advantage of that.
Okay.
So, attacking with my longsword.
You have disadvantage on the attack. Yeah.
With my longsword, I have advantage, so it's flat.
Oh, flat. Yeah, fair. Damn. Because of your abilities, that's right.
Cool. 15.
Okay. That does not hit it on that was your first attack. You still get 2 actions. Actually, no, you have 3 actions, I believe. Because of your abilities, right?
Oh, stunned. So I just get 2.
Stunned.
Yep.
You just have 2. So you get another one. Yeah.
All right. Still at disadvantage or?
No, because you're attacking with your longsword, so it's with it's oh no, yeah. It's disadvantage on, I believe, all attacks, because it's yes, all attacks against you suffering disadvantage, so it's yeah.
All right. So gonna attack again. He's just doing what he does best. Brain, no worky, just might. Or no, melee attack +5.
Yeah, melee attack. Yep, that's fine. Yep.
Worse, a 12.
Unfortunate. Give us a bit of what this scene looks like.
Sorry, I was wrong. I didn't actually add my +5 on my first one, so that would have been 20.
20 would have hit then. So you can roll the damage from that.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
And damage is D12. Yep.
Yeah, because you're doing it one-handed since you have your shield. Gotcha.
A 10.
Okay, a 10. You didn't. Yeah, okay, gotcha. So that is lowered down to a 4. Yep, give us the scene.
As it is turning, reacting to the shots from Esteval, Torben just pushes himself to his feet and takes a good slash at it, maybe getting a cut across the arm. Nothing too vital.
Indeed.
And misses with his other one.
Indeed. It is then the beast's turn. As you are right up in its space, it drops its defensive warding stance and instead leverages a attack against you. That will hit you. That's another 27.
That'll do it. I was at 0.
Yes, you were. So you're gonna mark another condition. What will that be?
So I should have unmarked stunned after
Yes,
my
that's
last
correct.
turn. I'll hit that again.
Okay.
Just takes a wolfish backhand to the face.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking. It just takes this like wolfish backhand to you. I think it is going to it backhands you and then it goes back like looking around the environment. It is going to bound off around the edge of the cairn so that like the arrows that were coming at it are blocked by the cairn. It like stalks over the ridge line, but effectively cutting off Esteval and Annalise's line of sight, but still prowling in the area. And that was its move. It goes again. It is going to, from its stance wherever it is, like as it leaves kind of behind some cover, it is going to once more ward off, getting ready to attack anything that enters its vicinity as it lies in wait, stalking around the vicinity. And it is then going to also parry again. It is on the fucking defensive right now. You have it on the ropes. And then ends this round with Elias.
If I need to do a test to like light the wolf's bane on fire and get that effect, or
we never actually specified, so you could actually just like be wearing wolf's bane around a necklace and it would probably count.
Okay. Then Elia right now is the only one who has that effect.
It sounds like that is the case, yes. Esteval gave the wolf's bane to Elias.
Okay. I think it's better if Torben has it because I'm not gonna do a whole lot of damage, to be honest. So I think Elia will give it to Torben. I don't know if that's a test or an action. I mean, if we only have the one, or
it would require you to, because you were lying in wait for the plan, so you could deliver it to Torben. You would just need to move out of the tree line into the zone around the cairn, but the beast will launch from attack. It will launch from where it was like lying in wait to attack you as you make the move. Yeah.
No, then I'll do something else. Could I roll a faith religion test? Because you said that there might be more to glean from this beast. This seems to be like in some versions that like werewolves are cursed by saints or even God himself. Or basically like, like religion, folklore to find out more about this beast.
Okay. Yeah, if you're just trying to consult your knowledge there. Yeah, I'd say you could do that. I think it will be difficult. So it's a 21 on that to discern things here in the moment.
Fair enough.
But you can certainly try.
It's +6. I'm gonna spend a fate point for a reroll. That's a double 9 crit for 18 +6.
So not only do you do it with a flourish, but there's something very important to note. You spent a faith point.
Yes, I do.
And as you spend this faith point, obviously that's a mechanical thing, but like we see the beast as it's like lying in wait, like growling, kind of keeping itself low to avoid further attacks. Its ears like twitch, its back arches a little bit, and it seems to notice something about Elias's vicinity. It has the relentless feature, which every time a faith point is spent in its awareness, it increases your pursuit points by 1. And it turns in Elias's direction. So that was one action. I will. Do you want the information first and then do your second action, or do you want me to? Or do you want
I think so, because that might differ how I react.
Oh, this is a good question. So I know things. I'm trying to think of how to how this would so since you are applying on your religious knowledge, like rites and all that, this is not necessarily something that like if this was Esteval doing this as like a history test, he'd be learning one thing. Because you're engaging in some like kind of like deeper religious meaning behind things, that's another. But still, there is overlap. Something tells you that, or something you have an awareness of this, that the local superstition that the cairn is cursed does have some truth to it. Elias, how do you know this place is cursed with ancient magic?
With magic.
Yes. And I'll tell you, this is more meta knowledge, but it can help you flavor your interpretation. The cairn has ancient Fey and Druidic magics laid upon it. So you can color that how you will.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. I think like this whole time, right? Like when I described Elia as being extremely quiet, I think it's because the whole time we have seen like these like shaky cam, horrifying close-ups of, a hand, like a fist in blonde hair as Catherine screams, smoke billowing, and he has like all of these flashes, and almost as if like a memory resurfing or perhaps divine intervention itself. I think he remembers his father holding a book in the study that he wasn't supposed to be in. And it's one of those like old, like the audience would immediately recognize as like a tome of old fucking dark magic, right? But to Elia, it's just like, oh, those books my dad looks in. And I think it's like an illustration or like vague words, right? And it's just, I think it's something about maybe like the layout of the cairn or the way that the moonlight is like reflecting off it. Like you described this mist that's hanging around it. I think that in the way that the world is just around us, like Elia just sort of has that eureka moment of like, oh shit, this is not natural.
Yeah, and that was only part of your result here. Not only do you understand that this place genuinely has old magics laid upon it, you have it truly is an intuition, like it's an assumption, but like it's a correct assumption, that the beast and this place are linked in some way. Which I'm not even going to be coy about it because you got a fucking crit. It's like you just know it's like that, like the beast is probably this werewolf that's probably the curse, was that the magics laid upon the cairn here transformed somebody into this creature. Now, that's all you can get from just like the scene you're in now. If you were to somehow examine the cairn, like actually with this understanding, like engage in some like light archaeology, you might be able to understand more about the nature of this old thing, or even if maybe even researching it. But on the surface, as it is like you understand this beast and this cairn are linked. Like this place has old magics bound on there that is solely responsible for the transformation. Also, I'll give you this for free because again, you got a crit. As far as Esteval's knowledge goes, as far as most folklore goes, people assume that being bitten by a lycanthrope infects you with its curse. Or at least your family knows, and maybe this is a thing that you've intuited or you even read just through old rites and practices, the old folklore. That is not the case. That has no truth. The curse can only be passed along in a very specific circumstance specific to the curse. And you are certain that involves the cairn somehow. So that is what you know for sure. But that is your first action. So with that in mind,
It is my first action. Now I'm thinking like, okay, how do I use that? Like, what do I do with this?
that's a great question. Feel free to spitball that.
I mean, let me look up again what a cairn is. It's like a collection of rocks where people are buried, right?
In this case, the cairn it's a burial mound. A big old mound of earth, and then there is a hollowed out like tomb inside of it with some like standing stones around. So it is an old burial mound.
Okay. Well, let's do something real crazy.
Oh boy, what is that?
If I have the idea that I could stop this if I know more about it, I'm going to try and rush in. And because we saw that person there, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's cursed. That's like its anger.
Okay.
So I will, I guess, move.
So you're going to move into its area. So it will attack you, but if you're moving into the area, it will attack you. That's great. Yeah. As you come rushing in, the beast comes like surging out from around the cairn and is going to attack you. It has disadvantage on this attack because this is the ward off, so might not hit you.
It's gonna.
What's your defense?
16.
Oh no. That is a 16 on the die as a crit. So she's a 16 total, but I rolled 2 2s. So wait, no, it's not. That's not a 16. That's 14. It misses.
Okay, there we go.
Never mind. Fuck. Never mind. It does. Oh fuck. Woo. Okay. In that case, it misses. But yeah, it comes surging out towards you. Just give us a little bit of the scene here, and then we'll reset the round.
Yeah, I think.
Oh wait, no.
Elia.
Oh my god, no. I'm so sorry. Yes, no. It is a 16. I can't do math. It has a plus 12 to its attack. It rolls a 4
I feel
total.
you.
I can't read. But yes, it has a plus 12 to its attack. So it does
Hey,
hit
that's
you.
cool. Yeah.
Let me roll all these fucking dice.
It's
real
fine.
quick,
Why don't you just ruin me? It's
I'll
cool.
just ruin you. This is why I mostly do story games. That is a 15 to you, which is enough to bring you down. So it is a crippling blow. And it ignores armor. So
it sure is.
What do you take?
Without armor? What do you mean? Oh, like for the stun. Yeah.
You don't take any. Yeah, you don't reduce any of its damage because you get to mark.
Stunned.
Okay, give us the scene then.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, I just read Kevin's correction. That was pretty funny. Yeah, I think sort of realizing that, and that this curse can be undone, maybe. I think mostly it's sort of that spark of like, my family did know about these things. Why? And this desperate grab for something that the Beaumains are supposed to do. Because if they had anything to do with dark magic, it must have been stopping it. It must have been making it go away. So I think he had been like holding his mace, I think, to reduce its damage reduction. And I think he glances at Torben for a little bit because this was not the plan, and he feels already very guilty about it, but he has to do it if that's maybe what's going to save them. So I think he rushes out. And immediately when he gets like without the distance, I think the thing like fully leaps on him, and we see Elia like try to slide through it. And I think he gets away, and then it's just like we see him run, and then he makes like that face as we just over his back, like the claw just fully like grabs him as he like does like a combat roll over the ground and is like trying to like scramble up, his back now like open and bleeding. But he's still trying to get to the cairn.
Indeed. Okay. That is we clear the tokens, resetting. Both the werewolf and Annalise have fast, so they both get to go before we draw more tokens. I'm gonna have Annalise fire some shots at this thing as it's now looming over Elias. She gets to roll her attack. Well, she rolled 2 10s.
I was gonna say Esteval gives her a little pep talk, but she doesn't fucking need it.
She does not fucking need it. That's a total of 28, but it's still a critical. So she will do double damage. Pray she gets a 1 on one of these dice, because then she'll ignore all damage reduction. So because let's see what we get. No, she does not, but that is a total of 26 damage to it. I think what that looks like is like as it's like looming over Elias, she draws this arrow, fires it, and it has its claws slammed you down. It's like prowling over you. It knows you have the cup. It knows it's there, and its claws are just like raking along the back of your chainmail. It feels like the bump of where you have it carried, and its breath, its growls like catching its throat for a moment as it begins to breathe heavily with more of that like fixed like fervor, and then the arrow hits it like right in its left eye as you just feel like a spatter of like hot fresh blood running down onto your exposed skin as it lunges up and howls, flailing its claws around. It then is going to do its turn because it gets 1 action because it's fast. It goes to use a skill here. In this case, it's going to make a roll. It is going to try and grab Elias because it's intending to drag you into the cairn with it. And it's going to be a contested roll. It is a massive creature. I'm giving it advantage. It has a +3 to the roll. What skill and attribute do you levy as it's trying to grab you and drag you away?
I think I wanted to because I wanted to go to the cairn, right? I want to go there and see if I can sabotage it from within. So I think the test, if we want it, I think is more about like Elia kind of leaning into it and avoiding damage, but he's not trying to get away.
No test needed. Then if you're not contesting this, then you can just be dragged with it. It's not dragging you yet. It'll move on its turn with you. But this for now, it's like it's grabbing you and you're not putting up a fight. So it has its claws around Elias, and it's intending to.
I think the only thing that Elia will do is like one hand mace, one hand is like on the cub, so that if it tries to get that, I will take that away from it. But otherwise, I'm letting it drag me or grab me.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, from the bag, foe goes first. It is going to move, dragging Elias into the cairn, dragging you along the earth as it moves very quickly. It is then going to basically it gets you to the entrance. It just throws you in there, and then it goes to like the stone like slab by the earthen door, and just with effort, despite its wounds and its now like ruined eye, just begins to drag the stone door to seal off the cairn to prevent the two of you from being followed in.
No, it's not my turn, so I can't suggest a contested roll, I guess.
Nope, you cannot. Yep. It goes again. It's getting all of its turns out of the way now. You are sealed in like absolute like blackness down here as it throws you down into the mix. You feel like the bones crunching under you. Smell these foul, rancid stench. You can't see anything down here. And I think because you didn't put up a fight, I think the werewolf doesn't know that you're still up and kicking. I think its concern is not on you. The werewolf is just going to assume like its defensive positions again of like getting ready to like in case like anything tries to enter the cairn again, it's keeping itself like low and ready. But it's you don't really see this, but you can hear it moving around here. It's not paying really you any attention whatsoever. And that's all it's doing now is it's just kind of like waiting because it doesn't know that you're still up and kicking. All 3 of its turns are now, and I'm just saying that it does the exact same thing because it would be absurd to say it does different things every time. In this case, I just draw it all at the start. God damn. Hey, Ben, I think your algorithm is fucking me. No, I love it. It is effectively like unconcerned with you. Although I will say, I actually think I might have it attempt to see if it realizes that you're actually still up and kicking because you did intend for this. So this will now be the contested roll. What attribute and skill do you implement to? Because otherwise, if it knows you're alive and kicking, it's going to turn its attention on you.
Attack me.
Yeah.
I mean, courage feels fair.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could I argue for persuade, as in like playing dead? That is sort of trying to persuade it of something, right? Like not verbally, but with my body language. Like I'm trying to trick it.
Yeah, no, that works for me because I mean, like, persuade does mention like you can use might with it for intimidation, and that's more of like a physicality thing than an actual like the words you say necessarily. So I'm into it.
Okay. Right, it's a contestant roll. Sorry.
No, you're good. Continue. No, I was just anything else. Yeah, contested roll. So I already rolled for the werewolf.
Okay. It's a 19 on the dice plus 9 for no, plus 8. So 18, 28.
That does it.
28, so yeah.
Yeah, it has it you are not on its radar right now. Its attention is fully external. It's still like dragging that like the stone door shut. Okay. One of you gets to go. Who will it be?
Corbin's going to intend to try and just slam into that rock.
Okay.
Push it open.
This will be a honestly probably might plus athletics is my assumption, unless you have a different skill you're thinking of applying. I think that this will be 21 difficulty because it is because it's thick old slab of stone.
I can't. We're in combat, but could I still help?
You cannot.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you could, to answer a broader rules question, you can help in combat, but I don't think the requisites for that are being met right now because I think you need to be there to help him in this task. So since you're off in the fringes, no. Go ahead and roll, Torben.
Might and athletics is +6. I still have that advantage from my training earlier. Do I want to use it here?
Oh, that's right. You were lifting.
Yeah, I think I do. Because anything we want to do, we need to get this slab out of the way.
Yeah.
That was just 2. That's a crit then. I'll take the 2 10s and a +6. So
what does shouldering a stone slab with a flourish look like, and why does it involve breaking through a stone slab? Is where my brain immediately goes. You have final say over it though. That's what I was immediately thinking though. Was you're gonna actually break some stone.
I think Torben is probably planning on shoving it out of the way, but he's pissed. This thing has Elias, it has the cup again. He just charges at it like a angry bear, and the rock is old and weathered and it's heavy, but it's not a match for a very angry 350-pound Dane.
Indeed.
And I think it just cracks. Yeah.
It crumbles before you. Moving into the cairn, will count as a zone into itself. So you use a skill, and then you can enter the cairn. And I believe you're still not you were stunned though, so that's the only two things you can do, I believe. But now you can uncheck stunned.
Yep.
All right. Which of you goes next?
Do we want Elliot to try, or does Esteval want to
I will
fire?
say, if in terms of Elias, with the slab literally being broken open, that lets in some of like the night gloom. So now you can see this thing lumbering. It's back fully to you, not registering your existence as it's leering down at Torben, who's trying to, enter through the stairs.
Mm-hmm. I want to try and grab the crown and see if that does something.
Okay.
I want to see that. Yeah.
I will say that that's just getting up and grabbing the crown off the corpse's head is not an action. That's just a free thing you can do.
Okay.
You just like pull it free, and I think just given the speed of the scene, like literally detaching its head from its its old bones and shoulder, and it just like the head rolls off the altar. You have this like ancient beaten bronze crown. Nothing immediately happens, but that's a free action, so you still have both of yours.
I put it on. It's annoying. I don't actually know what the curse is sort of my problem. And I don't think, can I find that out? Is that
Maybe.
something
Maybe.
Is there a test I can do to try and
more so about how you would want to try and figure. You're in the cairn now, so that's one thing. I mean, what
exactly? I am in the cairn.
Mhm.
I know that like mages and druids put this. Honestly, I think what it is and what is narratively coolest is I think I take the crown and like quietly, I think I go into that place where we've seen Elia go before, that light of God, that grace of God, where it is quiet, because he's going to try and like sift through the memories, not let them happen in like this like PTSD flashback way, but there is something there. His family knew something and he knows something. He has seen things. So there must be something that he can remember. And I think he's going to basically like try and see if there's something that he can do to fix this.
That feels like intellect plus religion to me, just because this is less about like textual factual history and more about like rites and old shit, like the more about the occult angle. If you agree with that.
Sure, yeah, I agree with that.
I'm going to give you advantage because you got a crit earlier on this. So clearly we know in the established fiction that like this is shit your family knew about. So you get advantage. So that is going to be a +4. Yeah. So 3d10 +4. Take the two highest.
With a 10 plus, with a +4, that is a 17.
17.
Total.
17. I was going to say that this was challenging. So that's one shy of the difficulty.
Okay, well, I'm going to spend a faith point. I know it will see me. That's okay.
I'll increase the pursuit points to 2. But you bump it up 1, right? Is that how that works? Or you add your...
I add my faith, so I bump it up 4.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just take another quick break while I figure out how I want to parse this information to you in the scene. So Elias, as a result of your success, here's what I'm going to tell you. Just given the fact of where we are in the fictional positioning, where there's not a lot of light to operate by, you're here. I'm not going to tell you much about like the nature of the curse as it stands. That would require, that's honestly more of Esteval's bag and would require more study. But what I will say is you feel pretty certain that it in no way involves the crown. It in no way involves the corpse on the thing. It's more about the power that's suffused, that like the magic's place on this place. The thing I will tell you though is, and I don't think this necessarily comes from like, oh, a specific like memory of a thing that my family read. I think this is more about, because you're approaching this through the angle of like religion, and like I think you're combining things. I've like you're figuring something out. You feel, at least you think you feel fairly certain you know how one could cleanse this place of this curse. And I will let you know what that means mechanically. It's probably beyond you. Just setting expectations now. It would require 24 hours of prayer and 12 faith points spent to cleanse the mound of its magic, to effectively strip the old magics away. A significant output of spiritual willpower. But like in terms of Elias's perception, like a 24-hour vigil of like with like that much spiritual output, like could strip the old magics from this place. I don't necessarily think that's a thing that you verbatim would come from a family text, but that's something that's Elias and his faithful place of being like, combining my background and my current rights, I'm like, I know how.
Yeah, like a powerful enough priest with enough time could,
exactly, and like that alone could lift the curse probably on the land.
Do I grasp like anything more like immediate that I could do to like make it less powerful or reduce its like hold on the place or like anything like that?
Nothing of that nature immediately. But I will also tell you that no, actually I think that covers everything. Yeah, no, you don't think that the cairn has a hold on the werewolf beyond just the fact of it cursed this person to become a werewolf, and you're not sure of what the trigger for that is, but you're aware there is a connection. You are stunned though, so that's the only thing you can do. Let's use your skill to figure that out. So you can uncheck stunned. And then next up, Annalise or Esteval?
I think both of us are probably going to close the distance. Well, I'm not going to speak for Annalise, but
no, yeah, she will. She will close the distance with you. She'll move into the vicinity.
Considering all that has happened in this round, I think Esteval will just like look up at her a moment and go, "It was an amazing shot."
She looks at you and she says, no. And the two of you are running over there.
As we're dashing over, Esteval will be like, "By the way, if you ever happen to feel called to serve God, I think your skills could be better used as serving the church than perhaps a small village as a huntress, but your call."
I think she just kind of scoffs, but you continue running. You can move into the mound and then like the entrance of the cairn, like within a single move. So like both you and Annalise, because it's only one zone to get up to the cairn anyway. You both can look through the entryway. And you see, and Torben's already descending it. You can't see the beast from it though, just because like you're not gonna be able to fire attacks down there. But you still have an action each if you want to go in, or do you hang back here?
I feel like it would stretch the limits of the fiction to be like, oh, we're gonna take pot shots from the doorway.
Yeah, no, yeah, you can't see it from the doorway.
Then I think what Esteval will say is like, you might want to leave this part to us. It's going to get close quarters in there.
I think she just nods. She is in agreement, and Lisa, on the very the least, is going to get herself ready, just by like just in case things start coming up out of there, and that shouldn't be coming up out of there. She's at the ready. She's content not to go down there.
Then Esteval will switch to melee weapons and pull out his probably mace and shield.
Okay. Well, actually, hold on. The beast gets to have its free action, which in this case is to attack Torben. Yeah. Oh no! Yeah. While you're at its back, the slab getting broken open by a very large and angry man who this thing has contended with a few times. I think that's the immediate threat. It's going to give you a furious blow, Torben. That's a 24.
Yep.
Now you are going to take another condition. Let me guess. Stunned again?
Gonna take stun. Yep.
Incredible. All right. Now it is its turn. It's going to attack you again. But its defense is considered 10. That is a 23 to hit you.
That'll hit. Yep.
Mark another condition.
That's tricky. Because getting stunned again would be really inconvenient. Bleeding would just get me stunned next time. Broken limb.
Remember that one of the salves, if you do have an action, you can use the salve instead of getting your stamina back. You can use it to uncheck a condition.
Something that's worth knowing. I think what that looks like is it's going to like clamp its jaws down on one of your limbs, and it's like the teeth puncture the skin, just the force of its jaws, you feel the strain on your bones and the crack. There's a twisting. It is painful. For its second action, it's going to prepare. So its next roll will have advantage, whatever it does. But that is its turn. Templar goes next. Who will it be?
I guess Elia makes
All right.
sense. Or do you want to go as well?
Nope, you can go for it.
Elias, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's starting to realize, okay, there's nothing immediate helpful to me here. I think it's almost like narratively, I think he almost like he's fully like dissociated and he kind of like wakes up maybe at the sound of like Torben like, you know, grunting or something like as you get like like heard by this beast again. And it's like he snaps out of something, looks around and like realizes where he is and what he's done, like getting all of us here. And yeah, I think there is nothing else for me to do but attack. I do have the Wolfsbane.
Yep,
With
it'll lower
that,
it
yeah.
lowers its defense, and also because its back was to you, it's a previous engagement. I say that you're going to get advantage on this attack because Torben's at the front, you're taking it from the back, and it is a pretty desperate thing. So
Its
It also
defense
has-
was already lower.
its defense is lowered
Yeah.
to a 12 now. Yep.
Okay.
Because it made the furious blow and then it immediately had to turn after that. It went back up to its normal after it was down to a 10.
Okay.
So because
But because of the Wolfsbane, it will be 12.
yeah, because furious blow is like until the start of its next turn, its defense is 10. But then because it immediately it did a turn before initiative, and then it took a turn at the start of initiative. Yeah. So, but it's now down to a 12. So math aside,
that hits.
blended.
But it hits. I'm attacking with my mace. Which is a bit of 2d4. That's a 5 total, but I do
Okay.
not hit a 1.
And
Unfortunate.
unfortunately, it soaks all that damage. Also, as a note, as we talked about last time, the mace would not reduce its damage reduction unless it was a silvered mace, because it's not the mace. It reduces damage reduction because it's very good at bending and breaking armor. This thing does not have armor. It's just supernaturally.
True, but you could like whack like pieces of its fur around or break like its claws too.
Maybe I'm not opposed to it, but all the same, you didn't.
I mean, in that case,
yeah.
I will switch to the weapon that does damage because
No,
then there's like no
I think
point to.
I think you made a good argument for it. I agree with it. But yeah, you already did roll the dice this round, so unfortunately, we'll have to honor that. For that one attack.
Yeah.
So it did no damage after the soak, but that's okay. And although it very clearly does not like the fact that your Wolfsbane is present. Like it is cowering away from you and it is lashing out. You're not stunned anymore, so you get to go again, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. I swap my action for Torben. Torben, you get an extra action an immediate one.
because of.
But I am near, so I think the Wolf's Bane would still count.
Oh, it absolutely does. It absolutely does.
You get to attack it instead. That doesn't ask for a fate point if I just do that one.
That's correct. Torben, you get a free attack against it with advantage.
All right, thank you. Cool. Unmarking stunned and attacking with advantage.
I don't think it actually unmarks stunned. I think it
I think it does because
it
gives him an action.
But it's not my turn.
It's not his turn, so therefore he doesn't lose stun. Yeah, gives you an action, but it's not his turn. And stun specifies the start of your turn. You uncheck it. Yeah.
Does that mean I would get through?
You just it's one action, so just one attack.
It's really just swapping my action to you,
letting
basically.
Torben take action because because you're what is it, a valorous knight or bold leader? That's what it is.
All right, then 15.
That hits because the Wolf's Bane lowers its defense down. Yep.
Okay, and damage is 2d. Where? Right, got it. 14.
14. I can do math. Okay. Both Elias and Torben give us the scene here. So Elias, you start us off because it was your round that started, and then Torben can do this attack.
Yeah, I think it's just he snaps out of it. He realizes where he is, and then I think like all of that like military training just takes over. But I think what he will do is he will use basically, because we are in a confined space, but that is true for the wolf as well. So I think rather than like trying to really do damage, I will like basically what Torben sees is like the face of the wolf just get like it like dodges, but doing it puts it like in a really weird position because there was like an attack coming from like the back. And I think with my mace, I'm like again sort of like forcing it down just for a moment. And I think there isn't like a command or anything. I just like exchange like a quick glance with Torben and you see the opening that I'm like creating for you if you wish to take it.
Yeah, Torben will take it, and I think that like this is a narrow space, and he has a long sword, which is why it's probably not as devastating an attack as he would have hoped it would be. But he will swing that long sword in the tight space that he has, mostly to dislodge its hold on him, though, I think, more than to hurt. Hopefully it will do that too, though.
Love it. Drawing the token, it's the werewolf again. The werewolf will attack Elias as you attack from one end and Torben attacks the other. He is going to just spin around and just slam, or it slams its paws against you to like throw you across the room. This thing looks like it is on its, like it is hacked up, it is bloodied, it is effectively becoming more and more like put out of the fight, and like its strength is like leaving it. Well, thankfully that's on a crit, but it still hits Elias. Elias, take a condition.
I'll take stunned again.
Yep. I think in this case, honestly, it like throws you like back across like the room. So you like land up against like the stone dais with the corpse. The corpse just fucking explodes, just like into like dust and like old bones. And like the stone cracks. You feel pain like radiating through your body. As like your body is protesting, and you just feel every aspect of you yelling like, stop. you please stop. This hurts. And then it does the same thing for Torben, where it goes to like like it just grabs you and is attempting to honestly like, ooh, I just realized something. Yeah, I think this is the first time where we've seen it actually like literally try something like more lethal, as it's giving you a furious blow, which because you're at 0 stamina, it has no effect other than going, if it hits, it gives you a condition, but it does lower its defense further because its defense would lower down to a 10 by default, but then I'm factoring in the Wolfsbane, which means this thing's defense is down to like a fucking 2 because this just represents the fact that like the blood craze, its eyes, like its one eye is like red and furious, it's breathing laborious, and it is like just kind of like losing itself to this own like red mist, but like it is not that much longer for this earth. Let's see if it even hits you. What's your defense again?
15.
That hits you. Take another condition.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna take bleeding.
Okay. I think in this case, what that looks like is actually no. I'll throw it to you. You get the. I'll let you like, color the narrative, but like whether it's jaws or its claws, just some kind of attack on you that you just begin to lose a lot of blood. What does the scene look like?
I think, yeah, it just gets its jaws around the upper part of his arm, and there is a tearing sound as it pulls both the chainmail and the flesh beneath, and not just little flesh wound. There was an artery there, and blood just running down his hand over his sword.
I assume we want to throw it now to Esteval because I drew a Templar next. Because if Torben goes, Torben must immediately check another condition.
So that's my question. Stun says start of turn, lose an action, then uncheck the condition. Bleeding is start of turn, take irreducible damage. If I clear stunned first, I just mark stunned again.
Oh my God, you're so right. Because I mean, like, yeah. And yeah, because bleeding would only be a problem for you if you were unconscious and stunned, or if unconscious and bleeding. Oh my God. Holy shit. Y'all just got significantly more longevity in your character, it seems like. Yeah, okay. That's true, because it would force you to mark a condition, but you already uncheck that condition, so you can just keep it checked. Shit. All right, well, Esteval or Torben first then.
Do you have a strong opinion?
I could maybe move. I could spend one of my actions to move behind, like rearrange us, and then maybe you have range options again.
Inside the cairn, I don't know.
I think it's range attacks in the cairn would have disadvantage, just so you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I am right there.
You're right there.
Yeah, go for
Let's
it.
have Torben go. So in that case, you keep stunned. You have 2 actions to work with. You are you are bleeding a lot. Your body is bruised and broken.
Just like the werewolf, Torben is also in a blood rage at this point.
Yep. It's the wolf versus the bear.
That's an 18 on 2 hit.
Yep.
And damage is 12.
Going to roll a d4 because it has the tough feature. If I roll a 1 or a 2, it stays up at 1 stamina. 3 or 4, this kills it. Torben, how do you kill the werewolf?
Just that bloodied sword. I think he just manages to drive it up, and as the wolf is fighting his arm, the sword just pierces it through the bottom of the jaw, and he just keeps pressing it up until the fighting stops, and the sword maybe comes right out through where that eye once was.
Oh, fucking gnarly. As you pull the blade free with a gout of blood, the abomination slumps, landing hard against the bones and the dirt. Right as Esteval is coming down. Esteval, you come down right now to see this, to him, wrench the blade free as the creature falls limp. Elias, you see this as well.
I feel like it would be appropriate for Torben to also fall at this point.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can see his like ragged and like the fucking torn flesh, maybe even some bone visible, like this gnarly fucking wound that Torben has sustained. Um, and you hear the cracking of bones, not the bones from the scattered like detritus, but rather the the creature is beginning to change. It's beginning to like shed its fur, and curled up and dead, you just see a naked man, middle aged, slightly balding, maybe a little bit of punch, completely nude. So you don't know anything about like what its clothes situation is. What this man, you just see just a man, except a man who has been, one eye gone, the other one, it's like this ruined and covered in beatings and bloodied sashes, just slumped there and dead as his blood begins to pool around him in the cairn.
I think we're gonna go for some first aid on Torben. Esteval's gonna, sheath his sword, run over to Torben.
Because we're out of combat, I will just say that you can that it just happened. You're a capable enough, healing person that you're able to tend to his wound, and so leave broken limb. Well, no, I'll just say that honestly because it's a difficulty 12, which is trivial, and we're not in combat, so all conditions can be unchecked. But just that there's fictionally, Torben's fucked up. But while that's going on, Elias, Estelle comes down, is attending to Torben. The creature transformed. You're pulling yourself up out of the broken remains of the little in the entombed dais. What do you do?
I think I too would have just immediately rushed to Torben's side. But I think if I see that Esteban is taking care of him, I think I'll just call out, Annalise. I don't know if there's going to be much of a bounty, but I
Uh,
don't think it's what they're expecting.
and she comes down, and she there's a moment where she looks around to be like, "Where's the beast?" But then looks at the man, and just her breath catches a little bit. He's slumped over, and she just goes, "So you were right then. A man that can turn into a beast." I think she nudges him with with a boot, no, flop him over to see, his face. And despite all the wounds, she goes, "Fuck me. I know this man."
Where was he?
One of the priests in the neighboring town.
Elia looks so fucking offended. Like he bristles when she says, "What do you mean a priest?"
Like one of the priests. She like flounders, she doesn't know how to explain it more than that.
From where? Which village? Which town?
It's from it's she tells you, I don't have the name off the top of my head, but she tells you
Yeah.
which town it is, and she tells you there's just like a Catholic church, like a old chapel, like a little thing in that town, and this man was one of the priests from that town. She's done some she's been to that town before. She's seen him before. It's not the priest of her village, but she's familiar with him.
What do you want about it, Elias?
How can he be a priest?
It explains the crucifix.
Well, it doesn't explain how a man of God can be cursed.
Cursed. Are you suggesting there's blasphemy or heresy going on here? Something darker?
As Annalise said, this place, it bears a curse. But if he is not from here, from this place, why would it affect a priest?
It's a good question. Would you like to do some investigating? Bearing in mind, of course, we're not an inquisition.
Of course not. But he cannot have been a man of God. We did not kill a man of God. We didn't.
Torben would point out, I think, that they've killed many men of God, but I think Torben's unconscious.
I
Are
don't
you
think
sure?
we've killed priests yet, have we? We've killed soldiers.
Yes.
That's different.
It's different. We haven't killed a man of the cloth.
Exactly. That's what he means. You can kill peasants all you like.
Torben, you said you fell unconscious.
I mean, he had he took quite a bit of damage there.
Yeah.
I don't like the way you said that.
In your unconscious state, you feel yourself drifting off into blackness. You feel something strange at the very recesses of your periphery. And you then feel a presence in your blood lost state. Your eyes like blearily open slightly, your vision doubling. You can faintly hear Elias and Esteval talking, but you don't understand what they're saying. And you see a light in this room, a light of a familiar woman. You see the moonlit woman who's appeared to you before. She is kneeling next to you, and she's looking at you, and she says, "Don't fall asleep. Not here. Resist. Do not pass into slumber." And I will let you know that if you fall asleep here, you will contract the lycanthropy curse.
Oh boy. Oh, tempting. But also, I feel like that would just cause problems.
I'm going to tell you that I think it's going to be down to a skill test, because I think failure here is very interesting. I think this test is going to determine whether or not you can hold out to prevent yourself from falling into blackness. What attribute and skill do you combine here?
If he's trying to stay awake to fight that, vitality and any thoughts here?
I'd say vitality and awareness, maybe. Like you're trying to keep yourself like awake, or like, or at least not necessarily even awake, just like keep yourself aroused enough to prevent yourself from like slipping truly into the grip of slumber.
Okay, yeah. So that's +6 then.
Mm-hmm. +3.
I still have that advantage from training.
You do. Maybe that's what it looks like. You just prepared yourself to endure pain.
Was that not used to move the rock?
Wasn't it used?
Oh no, that's true. Yes,
it was. I was about to say that's.
You're right.
No, we definitely use that.
Cool. Okay.
But could us like fictionally, because we immediately like helped you regain, and there's like a lot of attention medically, could that give an advantage?
Yeah, I'd say that.
I
think just the fiction of the situation, and also for supernatural reasons, you can take advantage on this.
Yep.
And I'm going to say, just before I have set the difficulty, I keep ready to do that. The difficulty on this will be 15, because it requires effort to stay awake, but I wouldn't say it's immediately challenging.
Okay. So advantage and 23.
Okay, yeah. You're not really conscious, but you don't slip into pure unconsciousness. You're in that bleary state just of of keeping yourself kind of right where you are. It takes a lot of meditative warriors focus to keep yourself in this state, but you're up for now. Meanwhile, Elias is having a crisis.
One of many.
No.
Yeah.
I think Annalise is cut in by saying like, might I suggest we leave? We can discuss these things when we're not in a place that smells as rancid as this, and apparently is in fact possibly quite cursed.
We need
It
to get him
is.
awake because carrying him naked might be difficult. Chainmail only makes it worse. Referring, of course, to Torben.
Yes,
In the dark, Elia does blush faintly at the idea of carrying Torben naked.
Torben will mumble, "You don't need an excuse."
Elia blushes harder.
And with some effort, you can get out of the cairn and back to Annalise's camp. The cairn looming still nearby, but apparently the beast destroyed. I think with that, we'll bring our session to a close, and we can go into stars and wishes. Everyone, whoever would like to go first, please be my guest.
I'll go. My noted stars were, of course, for the really awkward flirting with Annalise from Esteval. That was great. And I would be cool if we saw a little more of Annalise before we move on. And Jazzy, just the plan of just letting the werewolf take you into its cave was bold move, and I liked it very much. And also the way you explored the curse there, good. I think getting that little bit of connection between Elias and his family's past and the ties there, seeing a bit more good stuff. And I like when Elias has a little existential crisis about killing a man of the cloth. Alex, you managed a lot of combat here. Well done. And I loved all the little vignettes of the combat when you'd break it out of the mechanics into the fiction. It was very cinematic, a lot of fun. Do I want to be a werewolf though? I might have questions about that. Or werebear. We'll see how this curse. Maybe it's not that specific. And surely Torben, with his iron will, could absolutely control it. Nothing would go wrong. Yeah, good times. Thank you.
Yeah, this was I was really worried for you guys going into this one because was like thinking of how hard this werewolf hits. But no, like I mean, between getting to do a bunch of like preparations from like downtime, and then just I thought the idea of it being like, hey, actually, can we do a battle check because of tactics? I'm like, oh, actually, that fucking rules. That was a really cool way to set things off. And even though things like were dangerous, like again, one of the things I think that this game does very well is making it feel like each of the characters hit like trucks and can take a lot of punishment. Like the fact that it's actually when you kind of busted out the fact that it's like, oh, actually, because I'm bleeding and stunned, I wouldn't have to mark a new one. I was like, oh yeah, that actually makes you guys really durable. The only thing that is if an enemy went multiple times, if you were hit multiple times before the start of your turn, then that would be a bad situation. But like again, like even though things were you guys are getting brutal punishment, I do like how it always feels like, yeah, you guys kind of get in there and you do a fuck ton of stuff to them. It's simple. I liked that getting to see y'all just get to sing there. I thought it was great that Elias is like, actually, I'm going to let myself be dragged into the cairn by the wolf because this is exactly what I want. And actually worked out for you in his favor. He got into close quarters and managed to like lend some bottleneck attacks against it. I also am going to star the awkward flirting between Esteval and Annalise. I thought that was really great. Hey, have you ever considered becoming a woman of God? Like we are entering the Esteval fuckboy arc that I didn't know that I needed apparently. Just to be like, hey girl, what's up? You want to join the Templars? You want to be a woman of God? No, all jokes aside, I like the dynamic that came out of that. And I would agree. I want to see Annalise for a bit longer too. I liked the discussion there being like, I mean, we could investigate more, but we're not the Inquisition. That said, I mean, if for the sake of Elias wanting to know more about like what the fuck was going on here, there are, you could absolutely find out more, whether it's going to one of these towns or even learning or something. I don't know. Like there is more information to be gained here if Elias feels so desperate for answers. Like they exist, and I'd be intrigued to see how you go about pursuing that. At the very least, it means that you'd have Annalise for longer because she kind of want to know as well. She'd want to make sure that people are safe. I think that the prospect of cleansing the mound is beyond any of you, because I don't think any of you have a collection of 12 faith points. But that said, depending on how things go, like if people are like, if you sit here pretty long enough, maybe you decide, hey, we're gonna get our faith points and cleanse this area. I doubt that's gonna happen, but if it did, that'd be very cool. And yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with how our first like overtly like mystical side quest has gone. I thought it was a cool little we got a lot of cool character moments, and there was a formidable opponent to say the very least. So yeah, good times.
Yeah, stars. I mean, echoing, "Hey, girl, you want to be a you want to be a woman of God?" Waiting for the day a man asks me this, honestly. It's always like, "What's your number? What's your sign?" But never, "Do you want to be a woman of God?" No, that was very funny. It's just funny because we haven't seen Esteban is like so cold and catty to everyone, and then you get like one cool crossbow shot, and it's like, "Ooh, girl." It's very funny. Very, very funny. I love that. I always do love, I don't know, I feel like you always make like Estivao switching to melee, like it always kind of ramps up the tension and it feels always like dramatic. It's always like, oh shit got real, Estivao can't fire anymore. But I always like that he's not, like he never hesitates. It's always like, I did my thing and now I'm going in, and that's a thing. Um, Also, like you immediately latching onto, what do you mean, Elia? What do you mean it's cursed? Do you know something? Are you not telling me something? I really like that. Yeah, then Torben just being a fucking killing machine is really cool. I love seeing him in his element. And I mean, I love the little elements that you keep adding where last time you were like, this thing hurt Elia, it's not allowed to live. And now it's like, I'm gonna like blow this fucking rock to smithereens because Elia is behind it. And that is my emotional support twink. And nobody's getting him. Like, no. I really like that. I thought that was cool. The ending kill was incredible. But I just love like that like one-sided determination of, I'm gonna kill this thing. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna kill it, and I don't give a shit what it is. That was great. Alex, the reveal of it being a priest was really interesting. I don't know if that was like always a thing or if you decided that was a thing because Elia saw it, but that was really cool. Especially like Elia was like, oh yeah, it's cursed, which isn't like necessarily done by God, but like this whole, yeah, I think like Elia is just like the fact that there are magics that could curse you as a priest. That shouldn't be possible. You should no, that's not allowed. God is the most powerful thing, and you can't look. I think, yeah, my wish would be, I think Elia, because either he has to admit that there are magics that can curse you even if you're faithful, and he killed like a good faithful priest, which is bad, or honestly, I think he hopes that when we start investigating, this man is a sleazebag who was not a good priest, and he can like tell himself that like, oh, God has abandoned him. Like this magic is not stronger than God. It's just like he didn't follow his fate. Um, so I think that would be very interesting for Elia to have to deal with that. On the other hand, if we're not interested and we want to move on, that's also fine.
One of my favorite tropes of the Catholic qualm of like, I'm being faced with evidence that suggests that God is either not all powerful or not all good. I don't like either of those options.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna fully mental gymnastics my way out of this so that none of that is true. Yeah, I think that will be very interesting, especially given what he realized about his own family, where he's also gonna feel like, wait, what about me? No. Yeah, lots of existential crises material here for Elia. Also, I typed it in the chat, because yeah, I obviously alone we can't do it, but I think Elia, if it works out that way, teaming up with a priest to cleanse this together would be incredibly fucking cool. Like that would be really cool. But yeah, depends on what happens. But yeah, investigating further, maybe cleansing the place would be my wishes.
Cool. That leaves me. Yeah, great star's been thrown out. The big one that I wrote down is I really love how the werewolf situation was viewed through the different lenses of Esteval and Elia. Esteval looked at it through, he looked at the supernatural through a very scientific lens, finding wolfsbane, like, we're going to use the natural world to address this supernatural situation. And then as Elia got more into it, Elia's experience of looking at this curse was very through the faithful and through the supernatural lens. Oh, this place is cursed, place is haunted. We don't understand the science behind any of that. And in fact, it seems like it's more on the supernatural side, so it's not like it's entirely counter to science, but that's where I'm going with that. And I really like how the on a meta level, the two of them have engaged this situation very separately, and I think it's a great way to sort of highlight the differences between their two characters. Yeah, anytime Torben gets to be savage is fantastic, and Ben, your combat narrations are always fantastic. Annalise has been super helpful so far, and it's cool to see her presence be like sort of on the periphery, but she steps in when she needs to. And yeah, to echo the other wishes, I'm also excited to see, or I hope we get to see a little more of her before we decide to inevitably pack up and move on. And yeah, I think that's sort of my big wish. Yeah, if I have more, I'll throw them in the Discord chat.
Any other stars or wishes? Well, thank you all for playing. I will see you all next time.